How you doing there, folks? We're going to take the bike for a spin. Hoping the weather's going to improve a little bit so that I can get the camera on now and again. I'm just going to strap this GoPro to the front. We'll do a wee bit filming as we go again. I'm heading into the southern Cairngorms. Excuse me, I got a runny nose, quite cold. I'm heading into the southern Cairngorms, folks. So I've got a wee route in mind. I'm going to take you along with me. Sugly camera on the front of the bike again. We'll see if we get some footage. Right, I need to pack up that camera, get it cinched down on the back, get this show on the road. I'll get back to you in a wee while. Well folks, looking forward a wee bit. That's the easy bit of the day behind me. Got some hard work ahead now. Just realised I had the other GoPro running there. Turn it off, save a bit of power. So as I was saying, I've got a bit of work ahead of me now, but we'll keep going. See how the day unfolds. I need to get my head down a wee bit, but I'm going to try and put the camera on, give you a flavour for the terrain. My route is following the river upstream, so I'm on a fairly rough track now, and I'm going uphill following that river for a good long way actually. So let's stop blethering, get on with it. I've got quite a big climb coming up, folks, so it's time to lose a layer. There's actually wee flurries of sleety snow when I set off. I'm sitting having a cup of coffee and a wee bite to eat in the car, watching them dropping down on the windscreen. But I think that's the precipitation done for today. There we are, that's better folks, a layer off. So I'm heading up this way, keeping Derry Cairngorm there, the pointy one. Keeping that on my left. You're looking up in towards Corrietchican there, a famous Cairngorm landmark. and away beyond to Boulder. Let's keep going, see if we can get a bit closer to these hills. Crossing these wee burns coming down off the hill can be quite tricky. That one was fairly easy. It can conspire to flip you off the bike. Going to have to get used to it because there's going to be a lot of them. This one's more of a challenge by the looks of it. Let's give it a go. There we are. Didn't quite make it without putting my feet down, but I actually have to get off the bike. As I say, I'm going to have a lot of these to cross. Plenty of opportunity to hone my skill at getting down one side and up the other. I spoke too soon about the weather, folks. I said there was no more rain this afternoon, but it's raining now, and here we go again. I've just got to watch dropping my back wheel into them. There's a bit of weight over the back wheel. I have through axles on this bicycle, so the wheels are reasonably strong, but there's only a certain amount of punishment any wheel will take. Another burn. A little bit of wheel spin on that one, didn't quite make it. The exit was a little bit steep for me. Need to push. How slippy are these rocks? That's my question. I'm guessing pretty slippy. Not too bad. There we are. Oop. That wasn't the bike braking, folks, that was a Scots pine branch I cycled over. rain's off again, thank goodness. I was chuntering away to the camera back there, and I think I'd hit one of the other functions on the screen, and I don't know what it was doing. So forgive me if I am repeating myself, but I was saying that this is a better bit of track now, and I'll be off the map in about 3 or 4 kilometres, and then I have a fairly stiff climb. So before that, I'm going to pull over, and I've got some coffee there. I might have a wee bite to eat as well. I can see my route unfolding ahead. Looks like a crazy place to take a bike. Sometimes question my own sanity. Oh, what could be better, folks? Just perfect at this time of the year. It's cold, but it's keeping me cool. If I was doing this in high summer, it would just be a puddle on the path. I can see the cliffs of Corryetchican in there. I'm trying to remember the name of the Monroe Inn behind it. And that's Derry Cairngorm. I think it must be one of the middle hills. I think it's Benvian. Sometimes gets confused with Bainachmore, which is a little bit further north, because they both have these big tors on the top. And it's not on my map. When I change maps, I'll be able to confirm or deny all knowledge of saying that. I'm pretty sure it's Benvian. How's the hour? 2:45 in the afternoon, so we've got plenty daylight. Probably got more daylight than energy. Let's push on. These boulders are hard going, folks. Yeah. Oh, I've crossed the high point, folks. It's cold and windy and a wee bit wet here. The summit of these Cairngorm hills are in touching distance. I'm quite high up. I need a layer on and I need to change my map. I just put the camera on here. You're tucked in behind the saddlebag on my bike there, behind the pannier. The handlebar mounted GoPro has given up on me. The batteries are not lasting as long as they did. I need to invest in a new GoPro soon. It was fully charged when I set out, but it's dead now. It's pretty cold. I think the cold will have sapped it, and I've had it pretty much running on and off all the way. I do have a hat, but it's in my other bag. I'm just going to strap this camera to the back of the bike, folks, and I'm going to get down, drop down a little bit. To get that map though, just check that I'm on the right track. I do have a thermal layer in here, but I don't think I'll need it. Once I get moving again, I'll warm up. Right. Pop this on, do the maps and drop down. So I'm dropping down. I'm actually going to be down in an enclosed glen. The only way out of it is to come back up over this way at about 700 and something or other, 750, 760 meters, or continue north, and then I have to go up to close to 800 meters to get to escape from the hills going north. We'll get down there, and it's getting late now. What time is it? It's taking a while to get up there. It's 20 to 5. It took me an hour to do that climb, and only a few kilometers. It's hard going. I'm going to get down there and see if I can find a spot to pop the tent up. I think once I get down there, see if I can get a bit of shelter and get the tent up. That's enough for one day. Right, let me change the maps, folks. I'll get back to you in a wee while. So this is a boulder field that I'm crossing, folks. I was able to cycle from the Bialach there down a little bit and hit the boulder field. You can see all the big screes coming down on either side from the hills. So it's just with a fully laden bike, it's just not possible to cycle. Actually, even if my bike didn't have the luggage on it, I don't think I would manage it. Maybe a younger man with a suspension bike might be able to cycle a fair bit of it. But so you would be cross-country cyclists, if you're planning this route, be prepared to hike a bike for at least part of it. I fell, I've been slip sliding all over the place actually, because up at the top it was raining and the rocks are slick, really difficult, and I've got boots on, but they're soft boots which are ideal for cycling, and they're okay for this. It's a bit of a compromise. If I wear heavier boots, they're not so comfortable for cycling, and if I wear no boots at all, then they're no use for hiking across this. So I slipped once or twice, but I took a proper fall further up. I was able to throw the bike away and I got off unscathed. A wee twinge in my back maybe, but nothing to worry about. But the bike, my water bottle, one of the cages One of the cages is split, so I'm going to drink a bit of water to reduce the weight. I'll just throw it in my rucksack, I think. I've got some gaffer tape and plenty straps and things. I might be able to fashion some sort of repair, but for now I'm just going to lighten the weight of it, and then I'll carry it in my wee rucksack. The wee rucksack, I've said this a few times so the regular viewers know that this is my camera gear in here. It stops it getting quite as much sugaring about as it would if it was on the bike. It's a wee bit warmer down here, still quite cold though. And the only way, as I say, the only way out of here is to climb, one way or another. I've got a choice of routes, but I think I know which one I'm going to take. I'm thinking about taking the hard one, although I might wake up in the morning and have a different opinion about that. See how I feel. I've still got a fair bit to do. I've got a massive distance to cover, but it's really slow going over this terrain. There will be a point where I can cycle again for a wee while. Trap the right amount of air in that to cushion my back. Right folks, we've got a fair bit of work to do yet. The day's wearing on. It's after 5 o'clock. It's well after 5 o'clock. So I'm going to keep moving. We're making progress, folks. That's where we've come from, through this long pass. But I've got a wee breakdown again. Just my camera tripod actually. The top is wiggling about a bit, so I've got the tool to fix it. So I'm going to do that and then hike and bike onwards. I'm getting close to where I plan on camping tonight, so I'm hoping I can get a dry spot and a flat spot to put up the tent. There's actually a wee shelter here as well, but let's see what we decide to do. Let me fix this tripod first though. Get back to you in a wee while, folks. I don't know why I'm holding the camera that way rather than that way. Yeah, you can see me now. So we're going in that direction. And swinging you about, you'll be getting dizzy there, and that's where we've come from. So I'm going to fix this tripod and then swinging you back again, and we're going to head down there. Right, I'll get back to you in a wee while. So folks, I've got a couple of rivers to cross tonight before I can rest. This is the smaller of the two and it looks quite easy. So I've got waterproof socks with me, but I think I'm going to take my chances with it and just hop from slippery boulder to slippery boulder and see how I get on. This bit here doesn't look too bad, so we give it a go. It's just deep enough for horribly cold feet if I get it wrong though. And the boulders are, as expected, really slippy. Right about over there. Okay, now the problem here, I've got the bike's in the way. There we are. That's not too bad. Can I get out there? Well, that wasn't too bad, folks. onwards. I've swapped the GoPros. I don't have a lot of energy left for filming, so I've taken the dead GoPro off the handlebars and put this one on for a wee while. And I'm going to switch it off just now. You've seen a lot of pushing over this terrain. You get the picture. It's a bit bumpy, folks, but I can't cycle. A nice wee break from pushing. Oh, I seem to have lost the track. So this river is a bit more of a challenge for me, and I have to get across if I want to go onwards, that is. What's it looking like? It's be quite hard getting to the river without getting wet feet, let alone getting across it. There we go. Right. What have we got? It doesn't look too bad, but if I want to keep my feet dry I need to do a bit of preparation. I'm pretty sure that water's going to be cold, folks. And a couple of big patches of snow here. It just started to rain too. I'm going to pop the camera onto the tripod, see if the tripod's working, and then we'll do a bit of prep to get across this river. Doubling the bags up, folks, because they're not very heavy duty. There we are. Well folks, that's a grand day, but that's me done. That's as far as I'm going today. I'm at a low point, not emotionally, I'm quite happy. To get out of here, if I go back the way, I've got to go up to 700 and I need to check the map, 770 meters or something. If I go that way, I've got to go I think over 800, about 810 maybe. If I go that way, then the track is, well, it's non-existent in places and there's a brutal climb, so that is the shortest way, but not with a bike. And then there's a longer route there, which also is not a... the track gets better, and it gets better sooner. If I go that way tomorrow, I've got let me see, I've got about 11 kilometres of single track. A lot of it I won't be able to cycle, and the first sort of 6 or 7 kilometres is uphill with 1 or 2 really steep bits. But my preference is to go that way. That hill that's lost in the mist, and behind you there is Aviemore, one of the hills with the tors on that I mentioned earlier. At least I hope I mentioned earlier. I've been having a bit of GoPro trouble again. I think it's time to upgrade the GoPros. Anyway, it's Aviemore with these big rocky monoliths on top, natural monoliths, tors I think they're called. And so where am I? I came through Glenderry, and I'm now at the fords of Anne. It's pronounced Anne, as far as I'm aware, after the mountain, which is also Benan, but it's spelled Avon, A-V-O-N. So I know the mountain's called Benan. I'm pretty sure this is not the fords of Avon. I'm pretty sure it's the fords of Anne. Somebody will know better than me. You can correct me in the comments, folks. Morning, folks. It's pretty cold and wet this morning. There's some fresh snow dusting over the high ground there. I didn't check in with you much last night. I was pretty tired, but in fact the camera's died, so I couldn't do any filming anyway. I'm getting all my layers on this morning. I go down to the river there. I'll get some water, a bit of porridge and coffee on the go, and then we'll get back to it. Got another big day today. Got a big crossing today. I've got to get up to 800 metres, and it looks like I might just brush around through the snow. A little bit of fresh stuff, although it might be melted by the time I get up there. It's going to take several hours to get up there. Right, breakfast time. Oh, it's cold out there, folks. It's snowing. It's not lying down at this level, but there'll be a wee accumulation higher up. So I need to get warmed up. I'm in the wee shelter. Just going to get some porridge on the go. I'm hoping by the time I've cooked my breakfast and broken camp that the weather might have improved a wee bit. It's going to be a hard shift today without the weather troubling me. The weather's coming from the north, so I'm going straight into it. Oh, fingers are cold. Come on. This is the breakfast bag. Porridge. A bit bashed up, but it's alright. And a portion of fruit. Coffee. Just looking at that weather, folks, over your shoulders, not very nice. Wee challenge today. I think while the kettle's boiling, I'm going to go and grab one of the bags off the bike. I've got some waterproof socks, which I think will quite useful today. I've just got lightweight boots on, so I think I'll be having wet feet before too long with pushing through the vegetation. We go and brave the sleet and get my bag. Well, can you see that, folks? The snow has turned back to rain again. Oh, it'd be nice if it blew over a wee bit before I get moving. Anyhow, I've noticed that GoPro's only been on a few minutes and it's gone down to 82%, so I'm going to turn the camera off again for a wee while. I do have my digital SLR with me, however, it's not ideal filming in conditions like this with a camera that's not waterproof, so I'm going to have my porridge here, my coffee, my fruit, and then I'm going to break camp and try and get away. It's actually I woke up at around 6 o'clock and I decided to have another hour in the sleeping bag this morning to aid the recovery from yesterday's shenanigans, so still quite early. It's not 8 o'clock yet. I want to try and get away from here at about sort of 8:30, 8:45. Like I say, I've said this many times, I've got a long shift today. This is quite a difficult day for me, so right, I'll turn the camera off, get my breakfast, and I'll get back to you in a wee while. Well folks, I'm fed and watered, broken camp all packed up, had a quick freshen up in the river there. It's still sleeting, so I'm guessing it's going to be snowing when I go higher. The only job I've got to do before I go, just a quick check round the wee refuge, and then I'm going to take a quick compass bearing. I think my track is up there. I just want to be 100% sure because it's a bit of a mucky day. It's a long, hard day, and I don't want to go heading off in the wrong direction first thing. So I'm going to do that first. I'm going to break out the compass, just make sure that I'm going in the right direction. Then we'll get to it. I think I might have to layer up this morning with waterproof trousers as well, which is a bit of a pain to be honest, but never mind. Yep, so I want to be heading north up through there. That's exactly right. As we progress along today, folks, you might notice that there's a stuff sack missing from the cage on the front fork. I've not left anything behind. I've got it in my backpack here because it's got my waterproofs in it, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to need them on and off today. So that's where it is. We're all good. I've given a check round. So the only thing remaining to do is to get that camera tied on the back there. I've got the other GoPro mounted on the front, so I'll be able to do a little bit of filming as you go. I know for the movie it's not the best quality filming, but with the big distances and the rough terrain and the weather as well today, actually it's a lot more efficient if I can just switch the camera on now and again when I'm moving. So it's a bit shaky and that. I hope you forgive me for that, but still gives you a flavour of what I'm up to and what the terrain is like. So let me turn that camera off, strap it on the bike, and let's get out of here. Track is full of false hopes. There's all these wee false summits. Foaming at the mouth, folks, sorry about that. Yeah, full of false summits. But I can look over just in about there. There's a bit of high point which is about 40 metres lower than where I'm going, and that high point is still a considerable way higher than where I am now. So it's just a constant reminder out the corner of my eye how much work I've still got to do. I've come a good way. Just a little under 3 kilometers an hour crossing this terrain with all this gear, folks. It's quite slow going, but I will get the benefit of the bike in a wee while. I've got a long way to go today, but I do have some pretty fast sections coming up. They're still a couple of hours away maybe. It all depends on how I get on with the next rise. Right, going to save the power for a wee while, see if I can film a bit more of the day. So snippets here and there, folks. Get back to you in a wee while. So that's my final major obstacle of today. Dead ahead there, folks. I dropped down and across that ridge in front of us there, just by that burn. Let me see, which side of the burn am I going? Hey, where am I on this map? I go to the north side of that burn, so that's the right as we're looking at it. I'm not sure that you can see that burn actually. So it's quite a long way on yet. It's still, let me see, I've still got 1.5 kilometers, just a little bit more than 1.5 kilometers to get there. But I've got some nice easy terrain just now. I can cycle and bounce my way across. Use different muscles for a wee while. At the back, a wee bit of a break from lifting. Pick my way through these boulders. We've got plenty rivers and burns to cross on this trip, folks. I'm going to go up through the heather for a wee bit, and there's a step there that I might be able to use. With a bike, I've got to think about a crossing point where I can get down to the burn and also get back out the other side. I want to try this boulder here, right where my bike is. There we are. I do have waterproof socks on, but I'm trying to keep my boots reasonably dry inside. Right, big lift, 1, 2, 3, there we go. Up onto the bank. See if I can haul this bike up. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Right. There we are. Now, through the heather, we get back to the track again. I think I'm going to have to go the long way around. Looks like there's a bog there. How can I get across to my track? Over here, I think. Go around this bog. There. Yeah, it's quite boggy. How wet is this? Quite wet. There, up we go. There's my track. As I sit here, oh, I see it. There we are. Now, so we sit on the bike for a minute there. So this is the start of the third big climb. This is going to take me over my highest point today at 800, just a tiny touch shy of 800 meters. So what am I now? I can't see a contour with a. I'm about 700, I think. Yeah, so it's clagging in again, folks. Have the mist for company going up over here and the rain. I've not got waterproof trousers on. I'll turn you around so you can see me while I'm chatting to you. A wee wipe as well. I've not got my waterproof trousers on. I might need them here. It's just quite warm going up here. Pretty steady rain. It's sleet, so quite a lot of it is actually bouncing off. I've got Raven trousers on, but I've not waxed them, so they're not really water repellent at all. I'm chuntering, I'm leathering here. Switch the camera off again for a wee while and do a bit of work upwards and onwards, folks. Doing okay for time, not too bad. Just about on schedule, I think. I do have a bit of a time scale in mind, so I can get some place for shelter for my dinner tonight. Right, switch the camera off, we'll get back to you in a wee while. Can you see me there, folks? I've dropped the bike just at the side of the track and I'm too tired to set up the other camera. I've got some coffee left over, cold coffee from yesterday. Shall we call it iced coffee? It's pretty cold up here. Iced coffee sounds more appetising than a flask of cold coffee. It's not too bad actually. And the reason I've stopped, I need some peanut butter and chocolate, one of these Reese bars or cakes or whatever they are. Hopefully get me up and over here. Just feeling I need a wee boost for the next wee bit. Sorry again about the camera angle. Tardiness on my behalf, just lazy, tired. Still some big patches of snow lying around, folks. Sadly, that ridge is not the summit, it's a false summit. Anyway, that horizon is not too difficult to get to, so we'll keep onwards. See what the terrain holds for us after we get over that bit. More climbing. Oh man, that landed a bit heavy on my crank there. cloudy, folks. Dropping down now. It's sort of sleet or hail before, but it's dropped down into proper rain, so got another drain to cross. I think I might need to get waterproof trousers. Here and then cross the river, but oh, novelty, there's a bridge. No more wading, not for today anyway. A little bit more wading to do on this trip, but I've got dry feet and should be able to keep myself dry for the rest of the day now. It should be very welcome. Done any trackside filming to speak of. I just wanted to get up and over this high ground today, especially with the weather being a bit mucky. Stop for a wee minute so you can hear me. There's a couple of reasons that it's quite good to film like this when I'm crossing this rough terrain and I've got these big physical challenges. One is I can continue to make progress, but also when you're backwards and forwards and you're not making progress, it can have a little bit of a kind of psychological effect on you when you think, let me wipe that water on the lens there. When you're not making progress and you've got such a long way to go, I think you're not getting to the heart of the matter, you're not getting there. And that can be a disadvantage of the filming when you're setting up the camera and you're backwards and forwards and stuff. It takes a long time just to get a 10-15 second clip. I can, quite literally sometimes it can take 10-15 minutes, and that's a lot out of the day. Anyhow, let's get down to this bridge and get back on the bike. Got just under a kilometre of single track to go now. The legs are a bit tired, folks, with the hiking, but it's different muscles on the bike, so they're fairly fresh for the cycling today. Well, we're back onto a decent track, folks. So what I've done essentially is I've gone through the Cairngorms, not over them, through the Cairngorms from south to north, starting off around Braemar, and then if you're looking for another centre of habitation, the next centre of habitation is Aviemore. So I went up through Glenderry, the Larrigan Lough, camped at the fords of Anne near the refuge, and then up and over the shoulder of Moor this morning, and now I'm going to look for a place to have lunch. Well folks, the Green Loch and Loch Ewan. I'm getting fairly close to Aviemore now, so there's a few tourists about, and happy days. I met a couple called Katie and Shannon, and they just got engaged here, so that was absolutely lovely. So give them a shout out on the channel. They said they're going to tune in, so congratulations Katie and Shannon, brilliant. But anyway, I need to go and find a place to have my lunch. I'm getting attacked by two ducks here. They're as hungry as I am. Now folks, actually quite cold. We stopped there for some lunch. So I'm following an old logging road along to Aviemore. It runs parallel with the highway, the 30-mile-an-hour narrow road. But I stopped off at Loch Morlich to show you a wee glimpse of the view there. I can hear the helicopter buzzing around someplace. Mountain rescue, I guess. Over in there someplace, can't see it. So I'm going to get this little bit of my touristy route and get this behind me as fast as I can, folks, and then we'll get back into the wilds again. Let's keep going. So I've got a wee bit of road cycling to do, folks. I'm heading south now. Southwest to be accurate, heading down towards Fishy Bridge, if you know that area. So I've got about 5 miles on this road, folks, not too far. A wee respite from the bumpy tracks, and it's quite nice just kicking back and letting the bike roll here. Enjoying this. Fishy Bridge, folks, we're making progress. The road that I'm on is going southwest just now, but it makes a very tight bend and then it goes northwest. But I want to continue south, so I find another wee road to take me down, following the River Fishy into Glen Fishy. So let's cycle onwards and do that. There we are, folks. I've got another wee bit. I've got 5 miles of road cycling to do now, not too far, and then we quite literally run out of road. But that shouldn't stop us. Search out a track or two. So we're heading southwards again, which is my preferred direction of travel for the next wee while. How you doing there, folks? Got about 2-3 miles of road left. I'm just enjoying it. I've actually slowed down a little bit just to have a wee rest. Enjoy this
easy bit, so I'm just kicking back. Let the bike roll here and there. It was a fairly hard morning up and over the shoulder of Cairngorm, about 820 metres I think I topped out at, there or thereabouts. It's a long way to haul this bike up. It's wearing on, the day is wearing on. It's not far short of 5 o'clock in the evening. There's a little bit of work to do yet, but not too much. We've got another big day tomorrow. It's part of the reason why I'm taking it easy just now. There's a wee bit of work to do to get to my overnight spot. And then I'm going to relax. Some pasta on the go. Some fruit as well. I always try and have my 5 a day even when I'm in the hills. Very difficult on multi-day trips. I've got some baked fruit rather than dried fruit. It's still got a little bit of moisture in it. Man, does it stick to your teeth. Snacking on that now and again. So, you got the sun in your eyes there, folks. I'm approaching the end of the road now. I've got 5k off-road on single track, not Land Rover track, so I've got a fairly hard 5k, and then I've got a place to camp. I've got a destination in mind for tonight. So let me see, I was averaging 3k an hour over that really hard ground, and I'll do a bit better than that for the 5k off-road here. I think I'll be able to cycle quite a lot of it, I'm hoping. I was actually in these hills fairly recently, but I didn't come down this way. I went into the hills further back and did actually not a particularly long day, but a really nice day with a friend. Shout out to Martin. Martin, if you're watching this, I remember our day on Sgwr Gawth fondly. It was a grand day, and then we went over and did that wee hill. We did what did we do? I can't remember. We did another one, maybe Cairngorms or something. We did one that used to be a Monroe, and then over and did that little unpronounceable one. I've got a map in front of me here, but they're too far north. You can't see them. Anyway, I'm heading deep into Glenfishie. I'm actually heading for Glenfishie Bothy, folks. 5k beyond the end of the road. There's a gate down here. Oh, I'm so hoping that there's enough room to squeeze my bike through without unloading everything. I've been down here with a bike before. For a long day, I thought of hauling all the luggage off the bike and packing it all back on again. There's a telephone mast over there, that's new. car actually goes on a little bit further, but I've got to go this way. It's private down there. Well folks, we're back to the river crossings again. Got my waterproof socks on. I'm not going to bother with the bags or anything. I'm just going to get across here as quick as I can. These old boots that I've got on are not very waterproof anymore. Onwards. I'm on a detour, folks. Oh, I was making good time. I was enjoying the single track, pedaling away, fairly good conditions. Ah yeah, up we go. And then there's a river to cross, and there's a massive washout, essentially a cliff of unstable sand, gravel and rock, and I could get my bike down there by just throwing it, but I'm not sure what condition it would be in when it hit the bottom, and I wouldn't be able to get it back up the other side, so I've got no choice but to push through the trees. It feels like it's nearly a kilometre of detour at the end of a big day. Well, it's not the end, it's near the end of a big day. I've still got a bit to do when I get back round and onto the proper track. Anyways, it's not too bad here, but the trees are tightly packed and my bike is quite wide. So I thought I'd done with hard hauling. That's my bicycle helmet that's getting caught in the trees. I thought I was done with hard hauling for today. Obviously not. Well, it only becomes an adventure when the plans fall apart. Across the river, a little further up. Let's see if I'm hoping that this detour provides me with a track on the other side to get back down to the main track. Otherwise, I'm going to have to push through the heather. So here's the burn in question. I'm actually running quite hard. I can get across here. Here can I cross? Just up in here, I think. And there's a track going down the other side. Thank goodness for that. Looking at the tyre tracks here, I'm not the first cyclist to attempt that. Some squeaks going on the bike. When I get down to the bothy, I'm going to get some pasta on the go, but I'm also We give the bike a wee service, I think. Well, about 500 metres back down, and then we're good to jump back on again. A bit boggier here. I could be cycling this bit, but I'm just going to walk slowly, catch my breath. Hey, it's warm work. And the difference from that icy rain and snow this morning. Now this is interesting. I've got two choices, two tracks here. For some reason the bike seemed to favour that one. I'm going to go down here. I want to get back onto the original track as soon as possible. I'm guessing that other one's going to go the same way. Just to catch the main track a bit further along. But if I go down here, I can turn the camera and show you the washout. Must have been a fair old flood. I'll show you just in a few seconds, folks. Let me get past this wee difficult bit. And you see that big scar over there? I'll put it in the centre of the frame for you. So that's where the track was coming down there and then across to here. So I had to hike upstream. You can see a lot of debris, a lot of trees and stuff still in the river. A bit of damage there. Anyhow, I don't think I could have scrambled down that with my bike. Okay, onwards. Now the pain continues, folks. Another big washout. I got my bike pinned under a tree on the side of the river, and it took me a good 20 minutes to get it out. I'm about 1.3 kilometres from the bothy, but if it's all going to be like this, I've got a long hike yet. Hoping that further down the river the track will be usable again, rather than this bypass that has been made just by boots. Oh, here we go, look at that, there's the track back again. Oh, thank goodness for that. So there, can you see that, folks? Let me tilt you down. The track just drops into the river there. So we're getting there though. Right, anyway, the tree, not the big tree, there's a wee tree further back where the washout continues. That's where I got pinned. That's 20 minutes I won't get back again. My last river crossing, folks. Let's see if I can get over it. No bother. It's not the depth of these rivers that is the problem when you're cycling them. It's the round, slippy boulders there. They just, the front wheel, if it catches the side of one, there's just no traction in them at all. So I'm into the trees here. I've got to look out for this bothy on my left. About 300-400 metres to go, I think. Ping that the tyre makes always sounds like you've got a puncture. It's just a stone getting caught at the side and getting pinged out. It can make a little bit of a disconcerting noise at this time of the day. Okay, I see shelter up ahead and I can see smoke coming out the lum. So there's somebody in the bothy, and with a bit of luck it'll be somebody that I know. Just in time for dinner. It's slightly later than I would normally eat, but it's okay. There's a good fire going. Swanky bothy, all been done up recently, and there we've arrived. Let's go and see if there's anybody in. I'm going to take my bike in actually. Well, there you go. How you doing, Davey? Morning, folks. Early morning, day 3. I'm heading down that way today. Just thought I'd give you a quick look at the bothy and its surrounds before I go. That's the track that I came down yesterday afternoon, and then behind the trees there is the river Feshy. So I'm heading south for a wee while and then I'm going to turn east down this track here actually. A wee glimpse of the inside of the bothy for you. That's my last 1 or 2 bits and pieces of gear just to throw on the bike. So morning of day 3, folks. I've got a bit of easy track for a while, and then I've got a whole lot of pain again. I've got quite a difficult crossing, but I'm not sure what the track is going to be like. I hear that even on this track here there's more washouts. I was talking to one of my pals in the bothy last night. He didn't want to be filmed, so apologies that there was no filming in the bothy for you. But just sitting and catching up. It's a good while since I've seen him. His name's Davey, so I'm not going to give him a shout out because he doesn't watch YouTube very much, or at all I don't think. So it was good to catch up with Davey last night, and then just before bedtime one of the other boys from the club came along. So he's away onto the hill today. Davey's a former military man, served in the mountain rescue for a while as well, so he knows the hill country well. So good to catch up. But like I say, today I've got a bit of this. I've got a feeling where the track goes back down to the river, I might have to find a way. I used up a lot of time just on that last 5 kilometres yesterday with the washouts. It's easy enough to hike past them, but not so easy with a fully laden bike. And then when I get to the bottom of the better track, I've got to find a quite indistinct route through the hills. and then I'll pick up another track. So I've got 11k of navigation, route finding and bike hauling, and that'll lead me to a different drainage system. That'll lead me to the Geldy Burn and eventually to the River Dee. Now there's a division in the tracks here. So a track going off to the left there. I wonder if this is a washout here. I'll go down and find out, but I've got a feeling I might be coming back up here in a minute. Yep, I'm all out of track. Well folks, this is the easy bit of the day. The track should be down there by the river, but the river's jumped across, and let me tilt you down, so it's washed all the track away, and there's this bypass here, it's a bit narrow there. Anyway, we'll manage to get past it. I don't want to drop my bike down there. Don't want to. So, come on. So it's a fairly hard start to the day. I'm hoping that maybe a bit further up I'll get a bit of wider track for cycling. I've been doing a fair bit of pushing again, and it's early in the day for that. I was hoping to get the first few kilometres under my belt on the bike without too much mishap. I've had to stop and do a bit of navigation as well, just make sure that I'm not heading off on some random track. But the washout, I think it's a big flood a few years ago, so there's been enough time to establish a bit of a track along here as a bypass, but it's not on my map. Anyway, as long as I keep the river on my right, I'm okay. I was getting a bit far away from the river for a wee while there, so I'm a wee bit concerned. I was going off up into the hills. We're rolling again for now. What happens here? Yeah. I've still got my waterproof socks on. I can get across here, no bother at all. Right. It's narrow for the bike. A few cobwebs over the path. There's not been many people across here for a wee while. There's that river. I don't like it when it goes quiet. I can't hear the river. I'm back on the proper track now, folks. That was a tough little bypass, but I was able to cycle a fair bit of it, but even the burns coming down to feed the river were in spate during that flood, and so there was lots of erosion. Trees pulled down with the soil slipping, and quite hard work on a bike. So I've got a wee bit of respite on this track, although I'm going uphill, and the river's narrowing here, A little bit further away from it, but it's still there. I'm in a deep glen now, so I can't go wrong now, navigation wise. Sound like I've never been through here before, but it's a long time and my map is quite old, to be honest, so this track is on the map, but I don't suppose these bypasses are on any maps yet, although they might be on some of these fancy digital ones. It's significantly warmer today. I've already lost my morning layer. I'll have to lose another layer in a wee while. The bike was creaking and groaning a bit last night on the last few kilometres, so I gave it a wee service before I went to my bed. Checked over the important nuts and bolts and a bit of wet lube on the chain. Yeah, we're climbing. Well folks, I'm quite wet. I had to wade the river. There's a huge washout and it skirts underneath a crag or a cliff, and I see some people have clambered up and over, but there's no way that I could do that with a bike. So the river's quite deep and way deeper than my bin bags, so I just decided to get wet. I'll dry off as the day goes on. It's above the level of my waterproof socks. I'm not too worried about that. What I'll do is I'll cycle on a bit, so I'm back onto the track now. But that's 2 river crossings in 5 minutes. I'll cycle on a bit and then I have a change of socks, and so I actually got a lightweight pair of trainers with me, so I'll take these wet boots off, but I'm going to cycle on a bit for a while and let them drain. They'll be a bit heavy to carry full of water. Oh boy, I'm only 3 kilometres in, folks. Anyway, I've got my track back again, so I'm pleased about that. I was getting concerned about how much of the track might have disappeared. So the flood that came through here must have been quite something to see. Completely changed the course of the river. It's jumped over by several metres. Oh. I'm glad it's my chain's coated in wet lube. Sounding a bit grindy just now. I've got a wee bit left. Put some on later. Glorious countryside though, absolutely beautiful. Hard work, but rewarding. The creaking that you hear is my Brook saddle, just the springs, so nothing to worry about. The wee bit of grinding is my gears. That's something that concerns me a wee bit. So I can see the track ahead. This section's quite a long way from the river, so no problems now. For a while anyway. Let's not speak too soon, eh? glance at the map, folks. Keep an eye on my whereabouts today with all these track bypasses and the like. Quite easy to go off on some unfamiliar or unmarked track. Okay, there's a divergence of tracks up ahead, but it's a good few kilometres yet. I don't have to keep a lookout for it just yet. Home in on it, get a bit closer. So it's back to this filming on the hoof, filming as I go, because the distances are big, the terrain is tough. It's just a whole lot easier if I can chunter away as we're moving along rather than backwards and forwards to retrieve the camera. Double checking that I picked up my GPS there. I had to use it to see whether it was worth crossing that river or not. I just wanted to get a very accurate position on my map. Just a wee twist in a track where it looked to be going generally in the right direction. It seemed to be veering off, and I wouldn't mind, I'd just cycle on if I was not faced with a river hazard to cross, but knowing that I was going to be almost up to my waist in cold water, I thought I'd better check this first. It would have been a bit annoying to cross the river and then realise I put myself on the wrong side. I'm saying that's never happened. Hopefully get a bit older and wiser. Certainly managing to get older. Not sure about the other bit, folks. So I'll be following the River Feshie, but I'm going up to the watershed, which is obviously going to involve climbing fairly soon. And then I cross the watershed and I want to pick up the Geldie, which will guide me on for a wee while, and eventually I'm going to pick up the River Dee. So I'm following drainage systems. I'm going through the hills, following the drainage systems, trying to piece together reasonable tracks, and the bits that are missing I'm just hike-a-bike, just carrying the bike. So I reckon that this is day 3, and day 1 I had about 12 kilometres of hike-a-bike, something like that, maybe 11 actually. Yesterday probably 12, 13, and today it's about the same. It's a wee bit less today, it's about 11 today. And although the terrain is quite hard today, maybe the hardest, the track will be quite challenging, actually quite challenging to find the track in places, to be honest. So I've got an expanse to cross. I've got to keep my navigation skills up to speed. But the good news is that it doesn't go nearly as high. I think I top out at about 550 or maybe 600 metres today, whereas yesterday I was away up about 820 metres, so I was 2,500 feet or more yesterday. So, a bit less climbing today. Although this is quite gentle, bumpy and gentle, I am actually climbing the whole time, gradually following this river to its source. You can see the glen opening up now, folks, and I'm quite high above the river for a wee while, so good cycling conditions. I don't think there's much danger of a washout here, although further up a wee bit here on the left there's a big ravine, and burn comes down, I wonder if that has washed out. We'll find out. So you can see away in the distance there, that's leading up to the watershed, so it's many kilometres away yet. Just slowly, take my time. So on my map, folks, this ravine up on the left, let me see if I can give you a glimpse of it when I get down here a bit. You see that? Let me tilt you back a wee bit. This ravine marks the end of the wider track and the start of a narrower track. And let me see on my map here, I've got 1, 2, I've got about 3 kilometres to the junction of a track, and then it's imperative I get the right one. But the good news is the track onwards looks pretty good, although spin you around there you're getting dizzy. I've got yet another river crossing to do. Although my feet are wet, my trousers are dried off, so I'm going to boulder hop that bit there. There we go. Right. And as I say, the track onward is not too bad at all. I just put another gallon of water in my boots. Let's just push up here and see what it's like over this wee brow. Yeah, it's not bad. So, as you can see, folks, I'm up in the moors now. I've climbed a fair bit. The track is much better than I expected. I have been doing a bit of hiking. There's 1 or 2 little rises that there's a couple of them that seem near vertical. I'm guessing the Argo cat was able to get up them. Fairly direct route up a 90-degree slope, but I'm doing okay. A bit further on than I expected, to be honest, which is great, because I know I'll slow down pretty soon. I don't know if you can see, there's a wee track on the left here. So this Argo track is a new track, but it's crisscrossing over the old track, which gives me a bit of confidence that I'm going the right way. But you see these peaky bits here, I'm just losing all traction. The bike's too heavy, it's just sinking down. So I managed to plough on through that one, but there's some really deep ones. I've lose the bike in them, so I've been doing a bit of hiking round them. At every turn of the cranks, you know, taking me a bit closer. So another burn to cross, folks. The hard part is getting down into it, and the even harder part is getting up and out the other side. I think I can get across here. Hold on. There we are. We're in the water. That's the first part done. Now we've got to get out of the water. Oh, come on. Don't be breaking the bike, Dave. And we've done it. Right. Now my track is pretty indistinct, and I veer off here, so I really need to find it. Is this it here? Let me get up here and see what I see. I see a track there, way across at an angle. A wee house there. So I've got a wee detour here, folks, still on the track. I go up and around the waterfall here and come back down the other side. And then I've got to make sure that I'm on the right track. The track splits into various parts. I need to be super careful that I go the right way. I'm leaving the fishy behind now, but I actually go away from it, turn round, come back towards it, and then away again. So I can see that some people have not stayed on the stalker's track, and they've actually gone down here and across, and I don't want to do that because it will lead me onto the wrong track, and these tracks are pretty indistinct. So I think I'm just going to take my chances and go the long way. It's going to be hike a bike with this weight. I can't cycle this. Got a big drop off to my right there. So but once I get round here and then find the right track, then the navigation becomes a whole lot easier. But this is going to be hard for the next 40 minutes or so. Oh, the bogs, the bogs. I don't know if you can pick that out, folks, but my other track is in about there, I think. I'm going to get up and over the river past the waterfall. See the bridge? Not far now. The waterfall just beside it. Ah! Oh, come on. The bike dropped down into a deep hole. waterfall for you, Gary. A wee one to the right. Let me get another shot of the waterfall for Gary. Folks, onwards. I don't want to drop my bike down in there. That would be the end of it, I think. Come on. It's a bit rough. Yeah, that's a big step. So I'm getting pretty close to the watershed now, folks. Well, when I say pretty close, I'm about 1 kilometre away. I've got a fair bit of hauling, it's still uphill a fair bit. But when I get to the watershed, I have to start looking for the geldie. And then the geldie will guide me in the right direction. Let's get up a bit first and see how we get on. A bit beyond where I meet the geldie. Let me see, I'll tell you how far beyond. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kilometres. Then I pick up a decent track. But you can see the high ground ahead, so although I'm not far away, I've got a fair bit of climbing to do. So it's quite hot too. Oh, I fell in a hole. So that's the fishy again, folks. The track seems loath to leave the fishy behind. And much as I'm enjoying its company, I'm actually quite keen to leave it behind because it marks a change point. It actually makes my journey a wee bit easier, to be honest, because it marks the watershed. So just beyond that bend that you can see there underneath the mountain with a wee bit of snow on it, that bend sees a change, a complete change in the direction. So the river is flowing, actually at this bit it's flowing more kind of northerly or north-northeast, but it's been flowing east for a long way, and it turns here to north-northeast, and then it does a turn and almost goes due west, and then it heads away into these hills over there. So what are the hills? Let me point to that one over there. That's Cairngorms there, and that's Cairngorm Fiddler there. So they're most commonly climbed from the other side, to be honest. People come up Glen Tilt, if you know that way, and then up and over and into the bothy there, called the Tarf. Some people call it the Tarf Hotel because some wag some years ago found an AA 2-star hotel sign, a really old vintage one, and they nailed it to the front, to the door or something. It's a wee while since I passed that way. I've stayed in the Tarf Hotel many's a time, fond memories there. But for now, I'm heading in that direction there, and I've got to get up and over this watershed yet, and then the track doesn't get any better for a good long while, but the direction of travel is a bit easier. It's I've got a wee bit of gravity on my side, a contour for a bit and then a wee bit of descent. So let's cycle on. It's nice to be able to cycle now and again on this. Let me see if I can show you folks. I get the bike a bit more level for you. Tilt that camera back a wee bit. Sorry about the wobbling. So that's the bend in the Feshy that I was talking about, as it bends under Cairngorm Fiddler. And then looking across here, let me lift the bike to Anscoursuck. You can see a wee burn coming down off there. Now that's really the start of the Geldie, to be honest. It's what is it called? I think it's Altacoirin, I think it's called, but I'm not sure. And that goes down into the Feshy, and then my way ahead is contouring now, so I'm pretty much at my high point for the day. Thank goodness for that. So I'm going to cycle on a bit. It's lunchtime, early lunchtime, but I'm feeling in the need of some sustenance, but I think I'm going to go on a little bit until I get a wee glimpse of the Geldie burn. Yep. They're just wee obstacles, folks, but they're quite hard. Yeah, I'll turn you around one more. Better. I've got a nice flask of coffee there, some tasty snacks. I'll have them in a wee while, but I'm keeping going. I've been contouring, but I dropped down again. Now I've got to climb back up, get to the high point again, but I can see where the Geldie starts. I'm getting closer. We're doing good. I'm making good progress today. I feel good today. There was a couple of bits yesterday that was pretty hard going. The bike hauling bits. Hard on the old back. I feel good today. Good catching up with the pals in the bothy last night, though I didn't stay up very late, 10:30, which seemed about an hour later than I wanted to stay up, but one of the lads didn't get in until 9:30, so let me take you over this way, a bit boggy there. So I had an hour blethering, and then he was up and away like a rocket this morning. Just had a quick 5-minute chat with him. And cooked up some porridge, a cup of coffee, and 2 decent portions of fruit. Give me a bit of energy for this. I could probably cycle this bit, but it's a section that it uses just as much energy cycling it as it does walking along beside the bike, so I just mix it up a little bit. Another bog coming up about 50 metres, so I'm going to be to my knees. I'm pretty mucky. I get all mucky in the peat in the bog, and then I have a river crossing and I'm just diving in now. I'm not worried about staying dry. I do have some dry clothes with me. But if we complete this route today, I'll get back to my car. So when I'm diving into the rivers, I'm getting cleaned off again. So getting dirty, clean, dirty again. It's a bit mucky here. Ah, my God. Nope. Nearly. Big step. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. That's it. Probably quite difficult to pick out, folks, but that's the old Geldy Lodge there, the ruin, and you can see that there's a bit of a Land Rover type track going up to it, but it's on the wrong side of the river for me. But in a wee while I'll drop down and that track comes in and crosses the river, and I meet it just a bit beyond where it crosses the river, and then I've got a good track. So what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to have a later lunch. I had a wee bit of fruit and a drink a wee while ago to get me up and over this bit. I've just finished contouring. There's a wee sting in the tail, there's a wee climb at the end there, so I'm going onwards here and I can cycle most of this. So I'm going to cycle on until I meet the good track, and then I'm going to stop and have a proper bite of lunch. So folks, this is my last river crossing. Well, without a bridge. I've got 2 or 3 other rivers to cross, but they're bridged. So, you know what? I'm not going to even try to cycle it. I think I probably could, but I think weary legs. I'm just going to walk through. Not very deep. That's it. See a bike lying in the heather there, there's a hill walker out. Dump my bike in the heather and go and join him. Or her. I don't think so, folks. I've still got quite a long way to go. As you can see, the track is fast. And as you can hear, I'm needing a drink. I'm a bit dry. I'm going to go on for a wee bit and then have a decent lunch break. Oh. Camera's taking a fair shuggling about. There's the Gildy there. I'll spin you around, tilt you up a bit. You see that? Stopped a bit fast there, folks. So used to the brakes being wet and a wee bit spongy. I've dried out on this track and I hammered them on and threw myself forward a wee bit. So I'm still following the Gildy. You see that patch of trees here, not these larch on my left there, but the conifers, the evergreens across the way there. I think that's pretty much where I meet the River Dee, and that's well, it's a welcome sight because it's not far after that on a good track. It'll be in the region of the Chest of Dee, if you know that area. Just stopped here, folks, give you a wee glimpse into the southern Cairngorms. We're heading down this lovely track here. Show you the River Dee, folks. Just my wheel up there for you. So we've been following the drainage systems of the Cairngorms, so we're going to follow the Dee for a while now. One of the GoPros is frozen. Let's see if I can get it to go off. Anyhow, folks, it's time for a well-deserved rest. It's been a tough day so far and I've still got a bit to do. Oh, it's unfrozen itself. It's the one with the muffler on it which I wanted to excuse me. Doing this. I should be chatting to you. Just switch it off now. There's quite a lot of footage on there that I want to keep. So I think I'm going to have a decent rest here, folks. It's a nice wee spot. The track is good when I get moving again, so I think I'm going to wind the video up here. It's been an adventure video for sure. It's been an adventure for me. I hope it's been enjoyable for you folks. Grand as always to have your company. It seems that on some of my adventure type movies now I'm adopting this filming technique of filming as I go, and especially on the bigger physical challenges it's a lot easier. It's good for my mind because I'm still moving all the time. I'm not toing and froing for the camera, and when I've got big distances to cover and I've got a lot of route finding to pay attention to, the navigation at certain points on this journey has been quite critical, and then there was a few complications with washouts and finding bypasses, and which involved this morning 2 fairly deep river crossings. So actually my trousers have all dried off but my feet are still wet. But I'm going to cycle on this afternoon. It's just track cycling this afternoon, so I'm following the River Dee all the way down until eventually I get to the Linn of Dee, and my car is parked at the Linn of Dee car park. Hoping it's still there. And then I have to mount the bicycle carrier on the back of the car and get all this loaded up and get change of socks and shoes and get down the road. So
So yes, this filming as I go, I hope you quite enjoy it. I know it's a bit shaky and it's a bit kind of disjointed, and it maybe doesn't give you the bigger picture of where I am, but it certainly makes it easier for me, so I hope you kind of appreciate that, folks. It's sometimes filming these bigger trips is a lot of work, especially when I'm traveling on my own, and you know, I've got to be thinking about safety and progress and route finding and filming as well. So sounds like I'm making excuses here, but I thoroughly enjoyed this wee mini adventure. It was a tremendous route. It's a route that I've had in my mind. I've covered most of that ground before, but never on a bike. It's the first time that I've done that circuit right round the Cairngorms by bicycle, so a fairly big challenge for anybody, but carrying all this weight, and yeah, quite good fun, quite exhilarating. So I'm a bit parched. I'm going to have some water, some coffee, some snacks, and then I'll rest, maybe rest up here half an hour or 40 minutes, get back on the bike, a few hours more, back to the car down the road, and then rest up tomorrow, and then after that I'll start doing a bit of editing, so I'll try and get this video up in the not too distant future for you. So thanks as always for tuning in, folks. Very, very much appreciated. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I'll get back to you again soon, so bye for now. Stay safe.